Episode number 228. Are these comics going to make good film and television shows? We have a Green Lantern, and we have Conan the Barbarian, number 19 by Titan Comics. Let's talk about them right now. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Thank you so much for spending time with me as we rant about movies, comic books, and television shows, as well as the occasional board game. I'm your host, Frank Zanca, an award-winning screenwriter, novelist, and comic book writer, as well as a filmmaker. And yep, we're going to be starting back on a film in a couple of weeks, working on schedules right now. It's been a little bit daunting, but I did get a chance to get away and go to the movies today, so that was kind of cool. Also, remember to give me a like, give me a subscribe if you can. Share this video out there. And yeah, if you want to check out anything that I've written, go to Amazon.com and type in my name, Frank Zanca, and you'll see my books, including my sci-fi quadrilogy, Destiny Aurora, that was made into a board game, an RPG, and a graphic novel. It's also on the first book's on Audible. And yeah, excited to I'm working on a short story right now that's going to be into a magazine for Destiny Aurora. I'm about a little over halfway right now. I should be writing tonight. Instead, I'm working on a schedule. So there's that. Also, Tales of Ravenor, The Iron Witch is my fantasy book. And then I have my new book I'm working on right now, which is Battle for the Ruby Slippers, which is Wizard of Oz and Peter Pan together. And then my new comic, which is called Fairy Tales of Terror, and that's going to be pretty cool as well. We have the artwork is coming back. It's just Joe's doing a great job on that. All right, so let's jump into Green Lantern. This is number 21. This is by my friend Jeremy Adams, who has been on my show in the past. In fact, I'll put a link up here if you want to see that conference. So I would panel, I guess, because I had other independent comic publishers there, or writers, and etc. And we all talked about the creative process. So if you'd like to check that out, I'll put a link above. But this here is about, I kind of like the idea of the fact that there's no power batteries in the world right now except for the green one, which is the willpower one that's on Oa. So we have, because this other group destroyed them, all of them, and then try to combine them all, and now that storyline's over. So now they have to, since everything's in flux, people are just getting Green Lantern powers, or Red Lantern powers, or Orange Lantern powers, or whatever. And we have the guy that was left at the altar by Carol, and now he's Sorrow. He's a new thing. He looks decent, but it's still, whenever you say a guy is Sorrow, it sounds like he's a crybaby. There's nothing fearful that I have with a crybaby. So anyway, so they've been fighting. He was just fighting a Red Lantern. That, these guys have to go through training, but apparently this guy knew how to use constructs immediately, which I'm like, really? So anyway, the Connor and Kyle and this other woman, Odyssey, who's like a time traveler, they're trying to get the source ball. Again, I think that's something that they use to create the lanterns. So that's where we're at right now. So Sorrow and his boss showed up, and so Connor punches him towards Kyle, who then hits him with the baseball bat, and there's Sorrow trying to manipulate Odyssey right there on the bottom. I like the look of Odyssey. She has like a star over her eye or whatever. But anyway, he's like, that's all you got? Because I'm going to grow bigger. And his name is Starbreaker or something like that. Yeah. And he ends up grabbing them, and he's like, what the hell? So he creates little construct hands to pull the hands apart, and stuff like that. So we got this little action scene in the beginning, and he's like, oh, shit! But then Hal comes back from his mission just in time. Dun da da da. And he creates like big apes, and he's like, "Quit monkeying around." Come on, man. Come on. Come on, dad joke, Jeremy. So he starts manipulating her to the point where she just drops the ball. No pun intended. And he grabs it, so now he has the source, and he says to Starbreaker, "Let's get the hell out of here." And he pretty much gets out. And he's like, "Oh my God," she starts crying. "I told you, cry baby." And Connor grabs her, and they go back to have a meeting, which I thought that he was going. I think he does go to the Justice League Tower as well. But she's like, "I'm sorry, I fucked it all up." But they go to the Justice League Tower, and he goes to talk to Mr. Terrific, and he sees Carol, and she's like, "Love you, bye." I like how all the text was all together. "Love you, bye." And he's like, no, not good enough. We're going to spend some time together. So they end up going back to Earth, and, because she's part of the Justice League now, and she's like, "This is really my first solo Justice League mission." And they're fighting this dude that has, like, a gravity things, and he's, like, trying to crash cars, but they don't because, of course, they stop them. And I really wish they'd go back to the old costume to some degree. Show me a little bit of skin. That's a little bit too fully clothed, but especially in comparison to even when Wonder Woman was a Star Sapphire. But anyway, he starts trying to escape, and they put him in prison. But then Hector Hammond shows up. He's the one in the brown. He's working for the DEO, which is I forgot, Colonel Bones, whatever the guy's name is there that has a translucent skin where you can see his bones. But Hector Hammond, I don't know what happened to him, because originally he has a really big head, but he doesn't now, so he returned back to normal. So these three guys are back in the ship, and I really don't like the look of the ship. I think the ship is from the cartoon, the Green Lantern cartoon. But there's that, and so he ends up taking the guy from them, and he's like, "I want my powers back or whatever, but I need a mutant brain or whatever." So he doesn't even try to cut the brain open. He like stabs the guy in the head with a scalpel. Okay. So they're going to break in because they don't trust Hector Hammond, so they get Dove to help them. And that's who's in the little ball there. So if she sees anything, she's supposed to call out superhero stuff because she really doesn't have any powers. Not to that extent, but she's stealthy. So she gets in there and she starts calling superhero stuff. And we see that he's, took the guy's brain pretty much out of his head there. And he's like, "Yes, everything's coming back to me." Ah! So I guess he's going to be a little villain for a little bit of time here. Not great, but good stuff. It was fun. I always like to see him and Carol together, especially since they're kind of estranged. They're together, but not together. So there's a little bit of... having that kind of razor's edge relationship really works for those two, where it's just totally non-committal. All right, so I would love to see another Green Lantern movie. I rewatched the movie with Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds. I think that's the movie where they met. I'm not sure, but it would make sense. And there was some good stuff to that, but of course the big problem with that is that they made Hector Hammond one of the villains. That didn't really work out. It was the first time that we saw Amanda Waller, and the fact that Jeff Johns made the villain, the big cloud monster, was a really, really bad idea. They could have set up Sinestro in that movie and decided not to. And that's what screwed everything up, was that it was a nebulous monster as the villain. It just didn't work. And Hector Hammond. Having more of stuff on the core itself, having that schism with but they were setting it up for a sequel. You can't do that because you have no idea whether the first movie is going to do well. So you can't say, "Oh, we're going to push that off for the second movie." Bad idea. So anyway, the stuff had some good stuff, but overall it was bad, unfortunately. All right, so let's jump into Conan the Barbarian. So the last issue doesn't back up into this one, where Belit and him were stealing a knife or whatever else. He got stabbed. She got away with everything. The thief that they were working with, they went back to the ship. Belit wanted to go back and have revenge against her, but they didn't, because Conan talked her out of it. And that's the end of that. And now we jump ahead, which I really wish we'd stop doing this jumping back and forth in time, because in the future she's dead, and that's where we are now. So she was alive in the last issue, she's dead in this one. We don't even know how she died. We're just jumping ahead in time, so it's a little bit hard to follow. So this is almost like a new storyline now, and he's having flashbacks of his relationship with her, and the artwork is really actually pretty good in this. So, and it's by Doug Braithwaite. Yep. So I don't even know where he is right now, but he's like on this island or whatever and going through some kind of trials. I don't know if it's an island, because it could be Africa, because he does end up running into some natives. So anyway, he's going through all this, chopping down. Yeah, he may be in the Amazon or something to that effect, because he's chopping down stuff. He ends up fighting hand to hand with a crocodile. Chops his hand off, he could be Captain Hook. But he ends up killing it. But he's kind of wounded. So he kind of lays there until night when he wakes back up. Kind of took a little bit out of him. And he says he has money, but I don't know where he's putting money. I don't see any bag on him or anything like that, especially when he just fought the crocodile. But that's all this is a big trial thing. And then he sees the natives, and he says, "Hey, can I have some food, some rest, blah, blah, blah. I'll be happy to pay you." And they tell him to go fuck off. They're like, "No, you go fuck off." He says, "We don't want your coin. You're dangerous. You bring danger to our village. Get the hell out of here." And he's like, "All right, man, I'm going." In fact, so he has this mental dialogue with himself. He says, "I could kill them all, but what would that really get me?" So he ends up making a little, campfire for himself, and he knows there's something stalking him, but it ends up being a panther, but it's not. He knows there's something different about the panther. It attacks him without provocation, and he fights it, where it goes back and forth. He damages it. It damages him. Stuff to that effect. It knocks them down a cliff. Not a good thing to knock down a cliff, but he got knocked down. And he says, "For my love of Belit, I will defeat this thing, no matter what it is." So he ends up punching it in the face, and he knocks it out. And then when it wakes up, which is probably only a few seconds later, it transforms into Zula. And so I guess we have a new character, but it took us long enough to get there, an entire issue just to get there. And then in the back it tells us about the character who's been around for a long period of time. But yeah, so I don't know where it's going. This is obviously a setup issue, because 3/4 of the issue is just throwaway. I didn't need it at all. I needed him fighting an alligator. I didn't need the village people to tell him to Go fuck off. Anyway, let's do a recap. I would love to see a Conan movie. They're doing. I thought the Red Sonja movie wasn't actually going to happen, but it looks like it is, and I'm really dreading that. I think it's a low budget movie. It looks low budget. The actress they got for it is really poor, as far as the look is concerned. I don't know what her talent's like, but her look is not Red Sonja. But I would love to see another Conan. In fact, they just got rid of the head of Prime, right? Forgot her name, who kind of was wokeifying everything, including like Rings of Power. Thankfully, she didn't do that with like Reacher, but originally they had the rights for Conan. Oh, and that's right. I think they got rid of her too because James Bond's coming in, and I guess they didn't want her messing with James Bond, so they got rid of her instead. But they originally had Conan as a TV show going to be on Prime, and she was going to massacre it because it was too, masculine. So, which is funny because then they ended up doing Reacher. So I don't know what the deal was when she got roped into keeping that the way it was. But yeah, I'd love to see another Conan movie because the last one we got was with Momoa. And yeah, Green Lantern. I would love to see another Green Lantern movie. But we're going to see the Green Lantern TV show instead, which is really not going to work. You and I both know it's not going to work because they're keeping them. It's a buddy cop movie, TV show on Earth. Green Lantern is a space-faring thing. They're space cops. All right, well, that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it. Remember to give me a like, give me a thumbs up if you can. Also share this out there, and if you can subscribe, please do. You'll be notified about when I drop videos, which I pretty much do once a day, whether they're comics or whether they're movies or whether they're TV shows. I do reviews on a little bit of everything. Also, remember, if you want to read anything I've written, just go to Amazon.com and type my name in there. All right, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. I greatly appreciate you watching all the way through. You guys have an awesome week. All right, bye-bye.